Good morning. Today we're talking about you're doing a good job. So often we don't feel like we're doing a good job. We feel like, oh, this is hopeless. I'm not doing good. It should be better. By this time in my life, things should be different. There's a whole heap of stuff that we tell ourselves that we're not doing a good job over. So I wanted to clear some energy around that because I think you are doing a good job. And I think on any given day, you're probably doing the best you could. And it's like seeing the other side of what you're doing. We're only seeing the things that's not going exactly as we want it to. Good morning, Elizabeth. So, so we don't even believe we're doing a good job. So let's change some energy around that. So there's some generational baggage attached to that. So dad's side of the family, dad's dad, and the women. So over 30 generations. Yeah. Elizabeth said, absolutely, that's how I feel. Yeah, it can be difficult, can't it? All right, age 6. All right, so 33. So this is a stuck emotion. I'm just using feelings buried alive. So from age 6, a feeling is stuck. Acute disharmony in the home. And it's kind of like we have to unlearn this. So it's like we get used to having disharmony or people not being engaged. So it is hard to get used to peace and harmony or get used to having discussions about things or doing things a little bit differently. All right. So now we're going to go into our base chakra because this is about how, where we belong and how we fit in. Good morning, Jenny. All right. So I'm worthy of acceptance. All right. And I easily eliminate all that no longer serves me. So it's like when you clean out your cupboard, isn't it? Sometimes there are things in there and we think, oh, maybe I'll wear that again. But often if you haven't worn it in the last 2 years, it's time to send it to someone else. So discarding things that aren't useful to us anymore. And even that's ideas or ways of thinking, or perhaps the ways that we see ourselves, it kind of needs to be updated because you know yourself. You do the best you can on any given day. So you have to know that you are doing a good job. Yes, it's a difficult job. Yes, it may not be perfection. Yes, you may not feel that it's all that you'd like it to be. But are you doing your best? Absolutely. And, I think at the end of the day, it's kind of like, and I'm not been doing mine as good as I could, but gratitude journal I think is good because even to be grateful to yourself for what you are doing. Okay, now we're going into the throat chakra. And where in your body is complaining? Where can you tell the energy is stuck? All right, and in the throat chakra, like keeping in what we really need to express. Now, okay, so Elizabeth says solar plexus. Okay, so that one's about feeling powerful, isn't it? All right, I make all of my life choices in the interest of my highest growth and learning. This is in the solar plexus chakra. I know that I am a powerful and a wholesome force for good. And of course, the more good you have to do, the greater love that you have to show people, the more opposition you're going to get. So we almost have to rejoice in opposition because then you know that you're on the right path. All right, I'm worthy of love, kindness, and respect, regardless of what I have done. And we all make mistakes. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn and grow through our mistakes. Nobody gets it all perfectly right. And even though it might look perfect from the outside, never is. All right, generational baggage again from dad's side of the family, and but the women on that side. Okay, and Jenny's saying solar plexus and heart chakras. Thank you, Jenny. All right, so more generational baggage here in the solar plexus. So mum's side this time, mum's mum, and the women. 44 generations of women. So know that you're a chain breaker. Know that you're here to change the pattern that's in your family. Now we're going into the heart chakra. All right, I love who I am. Now, sometimes there's parts of us that we don't like, if it's women, it's usually parts of our body. But we have to love the way that we see things, the unique way that we see things, the new unique things that we're interested in life, and how we express ourselves is truly wonderful. No one else is exactly like you, and you need to shine your light in the way that only you can. All right, I trust in love. I really think that's the only way things change, isn't it? By love. Because often we want to be angry at things or we're disappointed in situations. All right. Also, what's coming up is avoiding the truth or facing painful facts. And sometimes we have to just acknowledge that the way that we're doing things could be better. There could be a more efficient way or a less stressful way or a more practical way. So, being open to the idea of doing things in a little bit different manner. All right, jumping to the crown chakra now. All right, I allow myself to be led by God. Now, sometimes that's a challenging thing because often God's got a different way of doing things. Like we don't, especially when it comes to our kids, we feel like we would like it to be done, a certain way, and we don't want them to suffer, and we don't want them to, be too challenged. But like we've always been challenged, and that's how we grow. So, do we not want our children to be challenged? Do we not want them to grow? Do we not want to have them to have the experiences that they need to be who they are? And we can be very frustrated at the rate of growth or the lack of rate of growth. But we have to trust that God is leading them and us, and that we are doing a great job if we listen. And even though it may have to grow our patience a little bit more, it is what has to happen. All right, I allow myself to be peaceful and balanced. All right, so generational baggage preventing us from being peaceful and balanced from mum's side of the family, mum's dad's side of the family, and the women. Okay, brow chakra now. All right, I trust God that all outcomes in life are for my highest good. And I think sometimes we've had some really soul smashing experiences, like things that we wished had never happened or that we could have done differently. And yes, it's painful. And yes, we might have to help get that trauma out of our body. But what did you learn from that you couldn't learn any other way? What's the thing you now understand? All right, my brain functions optimally. My vision is illuminated by gratitude and love. So I guess if we hadn't have been wounded, we wouldn't have sought help and we wouldn't grow. So it's like we don't like the wound, we don't like what happened, but it's what was necessary to make the changes in us that need to be ongoing. All right, so now we're going into the value of faith. So, all right, so faith means in trusting in things that we can't see, believing that we're going to get there in the end, having faith that even though things aren't exactly as we want them to be right now, that it can change, belief that it's possible. All right, so I hope for all things. So some generational baggage around faith, dad's side of the family, dad's mum, and the women. So 93 generations. That's a lot of people. So again, remember you're the chain breaker. You're saying, I'm coming to do it differently. We're not going to fall in the same patterns of the family. And yes, we may fall sometimes, but you know what? We know that it can be different and we work towards it. All right. And then we need patience to get through this difficult time, patience to believe that outcome can change. All right. How often do we get impatient with our children, partners, and work colleagues because they don't meet our expectation? So we want them to change and to change now. So the reality of the situation that change is actually required of the person being impatient. So if we are impatient, then something needs to be cleared and the trigger deactivated. By clearing generational patterns and identifying the opportunity to shift our perception, patience becomes a natural state of being. Patience is the quality of waiting calmly without complaint. That's a hard one, isn't it? All right, I'm patient with myself when I make mistakes. Being patient, compassionate, and understanding is more effective in the long run, which I really believe. I'm patient with my body's recovery process. I choose to be patient with those around me when I'm in pain. Cassie's saying, oh no. Yeah, we often are impatient with our body, aren't we? My patience runs long and deep, for I understand the worth of each soul. And that's you. You have great worth. And even if you're struggling, it doesn't mean you're not doing a good job. No one ever says, "Oh, yeah, that was easy." I guess it's like childbirth, isn't it? It's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, and yet you survive it, and you are a better and stronger person. But at the time, it's not a it's not a walk down the park, a walk in the park. All right, and now we're going to talk about generosity. So, are we generous with ourselves? Are we generous with others? Sometimes we're generous with our energy, but we withhold our talents. So generosity equals abundance. So it's kind of like believing if you're generous that God will replace what you're giving, or that He'll help you, or He'll bless you, that you'll have more than you need. So give what's yours to be generous with willingly and freely, and it will increase your vibrational frequency. So we all want to be higher vibe, don't we? There is a Buddhist saying, your happiness is my happiness. There's no greater happiness in the world. So this is true, isn't it? If we help others to be happy, we also feel happy. And as we lift someone else, we are lifted as well. All right. Abundance gives birth to abundance, an energetic prescription that'll attract prosperity serendipitously to you. So be generous with your love, be generous without an agenda. When we are generous, the veil between them and us is lifted and we become one in humanity. When we're gentle and generous with ourselves, we are then generous with others, and in doing so, open the windows of heaven to pour down blessings upon us. In other words, the universe responds because we are demonstrating that there is always enough. And often we forget that. We get a bit like, oh no, I'm going to run out. All right, it's easy to be generous. So sometimes it is easy, and with some people it's easy. Some people we feel a bit stingier. So, again, is there something about that person, that there's some property of that person that we have that annoys us? And I guess the greatest teacher of all of us is our family, isn't it? In the ways that they challenge us. All right, we nurture all who live within the walls of our home. So that's probably even pets sometimes too, nurturing our pets and family members. We are able to grow and blossom within our family. All right, we provide a shoulder to lean on for each family member as they need or want it. Sometimes they don't want it. I easily attract all the help I need in life. Sometimes we that gets tied up with not feeling like we're doing a good job, not believing that we deserve help or love or forgiveness or support, which is really not seeing the truth of who we are. So we are spiritual beings having this physical experience, and by that we are divine, and we came with beauty, glory, and often we can't see that. We're not allowed to remember who we were. We have to kind of learn to live by faith and to have the experiences that we have. But know that you are inherently a good person, and it's allowing that to shine through. All right, and next we're going to talk about resilience. All right, so resilience is described as an individual's ability to persistently adapt to stress and adversity, to rise up and continue in the face of extreme difficulty. And I think most of you that I know, you are like that. You actually are rising up, even though it is difficult. The fight's been long and hard, but you're still doing it. Right. Resilience is a reflection of our strength and resolve to try again. So don't give up. Like, even if it didn't work this way, try another way. There might be a few different ways we have to try before we get there. Don't give up. So, the power to connect to our true divine nature is the voice of resilience. All right, I know which voice to listen to. I hear the inner call to try again and dispel the mind's incessant whisperings that there is no way out. I am strong enough to face my greatest fears. Every mistake I make is a stepping stone to greater things. All right, so now we're in the aura, and sometimes people latch onto us in an unhealthy way. So it's like unhooking them and hooking them back up to the source. So males hooking into us. Is there someone that's a bit difficult around you that is a bit lazy? They don't want to get the energy from the source. They want to get it from you. And the last one we're going to talk about is joy. So sometimes joy feels very elusive. It's like a shadow. We can't grab it. All right. So the highest vibration in life is joy. So people who are joyous are the most fun and uplifting to be around. As we allow ourselves to be joyful, regardless of our achievements, imperfections, failings, life truly brings the greatest happiness. And you often see that in cultures that have very little material things. They are often happier than we that have plenty. All right. So having joy along the journey is an amazing skill to master. It teaches us to look for the good in every situation. Now, I have European background. Often we're very good at looking for the bad. So it's like having to unlearn that and to change what we focus on. Because if we look for the bad, we're going to find it for sure. But we're missing the good. So, let's refocus on what's good. All right. So the more we can find the joy in each situation, the more skilled we become in noticing the beauty and exquisiteness of nature and people. It's like a muscle that we need to use to strengthen it. So it's using more of our unconscious mind to open the conscious mind to all the opportunities to experience joy. After all, it is up to us to choose how we would feel. So the continual practice of feeling joy inspires us to seek for the good things in life. So, and Carolyn Cooper used to say to her kids when they were little, I want you to draw something that made you happy today. So they would be thinking during the day about what they were going to draw that night. So it's like, I would like you to be thinking about what you're going to be grateful for tonight. What are you going to write about that, made you see God's hand in your life? Can you be observant to what that could be? All right. I release my stuck emotions of feeling lost, helplessness, and feelings of disgust, whether it was my emotions or another's. All right. I release any negative feelings and emotions that are around me and remain vibrating at my optimal vibrational level. So my aura radiates at full energy. It is bright and energetic. It is intact, robust, and resilient. All right, so some generational baggage on that one. Mum's side, mum's dad's side, and the women. So 93 generations of women. All right, something from age 6. Where were you and what was happening when you were 6? Wanting to avoid feelings is what comes up. Some families were difficult. So, there was strife or difficulty at home, and sometimes it was hard to feel that you were good enough or hard to feel that things were going to be okay. But you are alive on the back of that child, isn't it? Whoever you were then, you've lived through that. You've grown and become an amazing person through the difficulties of your family and through the difficulties of your body and your life. You are the amazing person that's doing a great job right now. All right, I live my life in full purpose. I'm worthy of my own love and attention. As I rise up to lead my tribe, I'm given the knowledge required. I'm able to make a successful outcome from each trial in life. Right, and now we're going into one of the higher chakras. So this is the solar star chakra, or chakra, however you like to say it. And it's about like the good and the bad in life. even the bad things we grow from. So there was a lady called Corrie Ten Boom. Her family hid Jews in the Second World War, and they got busted, and her and her sister ended up in a concentration camp. And they were good Christian women, and they used to try and help teach other people. And her sister used to say, "You have to be grateful for everything." And apparently, in the part of the concentration camp they were in, it was full of fleas. It's really bad. And she said, "I can't be grateful for the fleas." But because of the fleas, not many of the leaders came to their part, and they were pretty much left alone because no one could tolerate the fleas. So it meant that they could do more of their good work of helping people to feel their soul's purpose. So it's like even the fleas in life, she was able to be grateful for because of the blessings that came from that. So what are the fleas in your life that you can be grateful for? So one of the things that comes up is light sensitivity and skin issues. All right, so gratitude for the seasons. So what is your favorite season? What do you like to do in that season? How does it bring you joy? All right, and also what comes up here is a balance of rest and play. So sometimes we work a lot, and sometimes we don't allow ourselves rest or play. All right, so Cassie says her favorite season is autumn. Yeah, it's beautiful for the colors, isn't it? And not too hot. I probably enjoy the heat of summer and swimming and enjoying your body. All right, I'm grateful for my senses through which I experience my journey. Oh, Julia says, love summer. Yeah. All right, life is easy for me. So sometimes we don't feel that it's easy. It feels like it really stretches our very being or the fabric of our being, even. All right, I exist and rejoice. So we are alive. We are able to have joy. Yes, there's lots of hard work, and yes, there's lots of learning and growth, and yes, that's a bit painful, but you are doing a good job and you're doing the best that you know how. And the more that we can release energy around these things, the more we are free to be who we are and to shine our light. And Jenny said, definitely autumn and its coolness after summer. Yeah, yeah. And I guess as we head towards winter, we might not like the coldness of winter, but we can kind of give ourselves permission to go to bed early, rug up, rest a little bit more. All right. So we're talking about then, still in the solar star chakra. The archetype of that one is the author of Eat, Pray, and Love. And she wanted to experience everything, which gives them insight and understanding, isn't it? Because as we see other cultures, we understand them a bit more. As we experience other climates and other parts of the world, or even other parts of the country, we understand people and their trials. So sometimes we want to travel, and sometimes we want to stay home. Sometimes we want to be uh, in our cave, having cave time, and other time we want social interaction. All right. So as they love and bring in or gather the fragmented parts of themselves, they not only know their purpose, but they can love and accept all parts of that journey. And I think that's important. So they not only see the value of fulfilling their purpose, but rejoice in the reverence of every experience. So the opening of the 10th chakra gives way to the giving up of judgment of oneself and others. There is an understanding of the lessons in their own journey, and they begin to see the divine in others. So I guess that's an important part here, isn't it? Like knowing that you're doing the best, seeing that other people are having the experiences that they need to become their best self as well, allowing them to do it in their way and time, even if it's not how we would do it, and rejoicing in their successes, whether they be big or small, and encouraging them and us to have resilience and keep going. Now, if we're talking about learning lessons in life, some lessons come through our body, some come through our family, some come through our work, some come through our country or different aspects of our life. All right, I trust my body to serve me. All right, my nervous system functions optimally. My shoulders easily bear the burdens of life. I feel safe and free to be me because I really want you to be you. We need you to be you, not a fake of someone else. I am more valuable than anything. And that's so true. So true. If you've ever had anyone close to you die, your perspective of life changes so much. And, the things that you thought important definitely aren't. It comes down to the experiences that we have with the people that we love and enjoying the time that we have with them and making the most of that becomes way more important than anything. Julia says, I feel like I will be judged when I express my true opinion at work. Perhaps, but some people might be initially judgmental, but as we live our truth and we, learn and grow through our experiences, they too can change how they see us. And, it's okay if they don't see us correctly. They haven't had our life experiences. They don't know what we've been through. They don't know what's molded us into the wonderful person that we are. Okay. Now in another one, higher chakra again. And remember when someone points the finger at you, that there's three fingers pointing back at them. So whatever they might be critical of in you, understand that they have the same problem, and that's why they might criticize us. All right, so the galactic chakra is the 11th one, so it's about 4.5 meters above the head. So it's like we're these great big energy fields. And as this chakra opens, it's like we're unveiling who we really are. It's like peeling away the layers and becoming more and more who we are in our heart. So, this aspect of our energy field growing can sometimes be weakened by our ego and our ego's need to rise above others and separate ourselves. Now, I know I can be guilty of that. I often feel different, or I'm not like other people, or, they won't want to borrow me, which is my ego talking. It's not really the reality. All right. So this this chakra can be strengthened by service. So, they talk about doing like one random act of kindness. So, can you do one a day? Just something small, might be bringing your neighbour's bin in, or, just doesn't have to be a massive thing. Just one random act of kindness every day. Because as we give, we also will receive, but also we'll feel that we are making a difference. Right, so an oil called cardamom comes up. Right, so cardamom is the oil of objectivity. So cardamom is especially beneficial for individuals with a long history of anger or aggression, which often becomes directed outward. So sometimes when we don't feel okay, we want to attack other people, we might become a bit cranky. So it's helpful for those who hyper-focus on their problems, especially their frustrations. So cardamom assists individuals in breaking down or digesting these intense emotions of frustration and anger by redirecting energy to the solar plexus, the center of responsibility. In this way, cardamom helps individuals to let go of emotional distortions which cause them to objectify other people and see them as inconveniences. So cardamom demands that individuals stop blaming others. It asks them to take personal ownership and responsibility for their feelings. As they do, they will feel more at peace, calm, and in control of themselves. Right, interesting, isn't it? All right, I create the natural expression of my own being. I think that's really important. It's like only you can express yourselves. In whatever way is best for you. All right, life is a gift of unimaginable proportion. And so sometimes we have to be grateful for life. Sometimes we feel a bit jaded with life or with the aspects of our life that are really challenging us right now. But can you look for the good? Can you find the little flower in the corner? Can you find some aspect of it that makes you laugh? All right, so the 11th chakra archetype is becoming conscious of all planes of existence, not just the physical ones. And so it's like taking a step back, isn't it? Not just seeing here and now, it's seeing the whole picture. All right, mental anguish no longer agitates them. Their peace and purity of heart protects them, and worry and anxiety no longer exist. So, more often than not, the 11th chakra archetype will have experienced great trauma and suffering in their life. From this great adversity burns the deep desire to ease the suffering of others. The separation instituted by the body we dwell in is dissolved into a field of oneness and genuine unity. There is a determination to make a difference in this world at a community and global level. And I really feel that if you're here and now on this time on earth, you are here to show love and to make a difference. And it may not be to millions of people, it may only be to a few people. But know that you are in the right place and the right time, and you are doing a great job. Okay. So, any other bits and pieces that are complaining? Any other parts of your body that will need to have a voice? Are there any other aspects of your life that you would like to talk about before we close? So I'm just getting out my calendar. So our next we're supposed to have an Energy Works get together in August, but I've not been able to manage that. So the next one will be in September. The end of September. So, and then also there will be an advanced energy work. So if you're wanting to learn a bit more about the muscles and how it relates to the body, that will be the 11th, 12th, and 13th of October, and that will be held in Sydney. Okay. Well, thank you for those that jumped on the call. Thank you for those that commented. It helps make it much easier. Appreciate your support. Appreciate you being you and feel that you are doing a good job. I believe you are. And I believe, even though it's difficult and hard, that you can persist, and that as you persist, it becomes easier and your capacity to deal with these difficult things will be strengthened. Anyway, blessings to you and love and a hug, and may you enjoy your day.